Turn me up just a little bit. Yeah, it's that man space vibe. Step in the zone, microphone check. Russ and Les got the real intellect. Talk smooth like jazz on a late night set. With a convo deep and the topics connect. From the struggles to the wins, they address it with grace. Drop lines so cool, you can feel the bass. Two kings of the craft, and you know the rest. Kick back, pour a drink, welcome to the space. You go chillin' with Russ and Les. You go chillin' with Russ and Les. You go chillin' with Russ and Les. Hang out, cause now you vibing with nothing but the best. Space forever.
Welcome into another edition of the Manspace Podcast. Now, this is the voice of Russ, and with me, as always, he's not here. My buddy, my good friend Les, my co-host, he is away, but he sends his regards while he is out on his cruise. So he is enjoying himself, and he'll be gone for the next couple of weeks. But hey, Manspace Nation, don't worry. I got somebody to fill in for him. You guys, you know him. You love him. He's been on the show several times. He's our good friend. And I know Les will be mad that he is not here because I know he wants revenge on this guy on the Manspace Game Show. But none other than Marcus. And you got to say the A, Wright.
Hey, Russ, how you doing today?
What's up, Marcus? How you doing, man?
I'm doing well. I want to thank Les for letting me sit in for him today. And I promise, buddy, I'm going to do my best until we get back together for your rematch for you to lose again. It's all good.
I know, man. Chi-Town Stand Up is in the house. But, Marcus.
Sir.
We have a guest that is joining us today. And see, I didn't want to do this show by myself, because I've talked to this guy several times. I need the Manspace Nation to really get to know our guest today. He knows what it costs a man to stay stuck as a pastor, executive coach, retired U.S. Army futurist. He has spent more than 35 years developing men who appeared strong externally, however, they were quietly crumbling internally. He served across the military's most demanding institution, from Special Operations Commands to Army Futures Commands, studying how high-performing men make decisions, lead under pressure, and pass on something worth inheriting. He now leads transformational conversations where he coaches real leaders, men who are relevant, empowered, authentic, and legacy leaving. He focuses on one thing: closing the gap between intention and execution. He has worked with military leaders, federal executives, and corporate professionals across 5 continents, and now he serves as a pastor in the Hampton Roads area of Virginia. He is a husband, a father, a grandfather who treats marriage and fatherhood as his most demanding leadership assignments, and he refuses to avoid the work at home he calls other men to face. Manspace Nation, leadership is not just what you say, it's what you practice, especially under pressure. Give it up today for our guest, Mr. Coach Ellis. What's up, Coach? What's up, Coach?
Hey, Russ. Hey, Marcus. How are you?
I'm good.
How y'all? Man, welcome into the show, man. We appreciate you taking the invite to be here. But if you could, man, just share with the Manspace Nation a little bit about yourself, because they really need to get to know you.
Well, okay. Well, thanks, Russ. So I am Coach Ellis, and I've been coaching leaders now for almost 40 years. I have been a coach to military leaders, senior leaders, generals, and admirals. I ran the Army's coaching program for one of the 4-star commands. I coach relationships. I had my own TV show in Hampton Roads for a couple of years called The Rules, Relationships, Universal Lessons. And I coach faith development. Spend a lot of time with faith leaders and their families, make sure that we are aligned to what we think we're called to. So that's who I am. And I've known Russ for a long time.
Uh-oh.
That he has. That he has. He has known me for, I'll say this, I'm not going to tell our ages on the air, but I have known him since I was in the 3rd grade.
Oh, wow. Y'all go way, way, way
back. We go way back. We go way back. So it's been a long time.
Yep.
So that's why I wanted you here, Marcus, because I don't need to talk to him anymore. I know him. I'm going to shut my mic off. I'm going to let you talk to him.
But look, I've been watching you guys do your thing, Russ. I am so proud of you. You and your partner, Les, man. You guys are doing the deed.
Thank you. You know, and it's funny how you mentioned faith leadership, right? Because this was a walk of faith for us, right? When I was sitting in church when this show came together back in 2020, I was sitting in church and I hear this voice that tells me, do your show. And I'm like, what? And I'm just looking around and I hear this again. It says, do your show now because you'll help more people by doing your show rather than being in a pulpit. And I was like, oh, okay. So I looked at my wife again, who's not paying me any attention. She's listening to the message going on. I looked around. I opened my tablet and I started writing down names of shows. I started writing down topics of what I wanted to talk about. And I wrote down 3 people that I wanted to work with. Les was the 3rd person on that list. He was the first person that I called. We talked for about an hour in the car. 2 days later, we had recorded the first episode, and a week later it was on the air, and we haven't looked back since.
All righty.
Yeah.
Love when a plan comes together.
That's it. You know, because, you know, and you're talking about faith leaders. I mean, I think there's a lot of people out there that think they're called, but they're not called. They're not properly in the position that they need to be. Are you where, when you say coaching faith leaders, do you help people get to that spot, or how is it that you're coaching leaders? Yeah,
I'll tell you, if I can just tweak the question a little bit.
Yeah.
As a coach, I don't help anybody.
Okay.
And the reason I say that is that help gives the impression that you're broken. I support people in getting to where they are designed to be. So when it comes to faith leaders, my role with faith leaders is to support them in being who their deity says that they are, to live authentically in the call in which they believe they're called to. And what I find is that with a lot of faith leaders, that they're great pulpiteers and they're great teachers and scholars and prophets, but they're bad husbands and fathers. And so we get to have the conversation about being authentic. So where what you're teaching and preaching on Sunday is not in addition to everything else you do. It is a byproduct of who you are. And too often with leaders, leadership becomes about checking the boxes and doing the things right, as opposed to leadership is a byproduct of who you are. So if things need to change, it starts with what needs to change in me, what needs to transform in me, and you know the book of life says what's inside of us will come out. So we start with what's inside, and if inside is rotten, what comes out is rotten. And if you want something to change, you change what's inside and let it flow out.
Interesting. So in doing that, when you're working with them and you're helping them to understand those things because you're supporting them, right? As you say, you're not really coaching, you're supporting. What happens when you have someone that you're trying to support and they're just not where you're at emotionally, right? They're really struggling, and you're giving them all the support that they need, but they feel for some reason this is what they're supposed to do. How do you support them emotionally if you have to kind of help them understand this may not be what you're supposed to do?
So
now, before you answer that, Coach Ellis, I just want to give you a little background because Marcus is an emotional intelligence coach.
Yep.
So I just want to give you that little background,
which is great. And because so here's the difference, especially when it comes to coaching faith development. We are who our Creator says we are, not what the schools have told us, not even what we think we want to be. And so my quest is to help people discover, and I use the word discover because what discover is, it is to discover or to uncover what's already there. So before we were even created, in most faith traditions, and especially in Christianity, we believe that God knew before we were even born who we're supposed to be. We spent a lifetime in pursuit of that. So if someone believes that someone is stuck in a space, if they think they're in the right space, they wouldn't employ me to begin with. If most people who call for coaching know something is missing, and the resistance to them changing and being transformed is the habits that they've already formed. It is the comfort in which they have grown accustomed to. And one of the phrases that I use with clients is what's in the way is the way. The very thing that you are fighting against is the exact thing that God is inviting you into. We get to discover what that is, then we get to break through it. And so there are tools and techniques we use to discover and to break through, and then to live in a new transformed space. So if they don't want to go, okay. And if they're overly resistant, I fire them. I have other people to go talk to that want to transform.
So what are some of those tools and techniques that you were speaking of?
So I use a paradigm called the real paradigm, REAL. Unless you're from Alabama, it's aura, EAL. But, you know. And it's an acronym. So R is relevant. The first thing we do with anybody and everybody we coach is we talk about relevancy. Relevancy is really about our divine design. Who are we? Who did God create us to be? This is your unique combination of your gifts, abilities, talents, and skills. I call it your GTOS, right? And in this space, your learning proclivities, your personality traits, your spiritual gifts, because there's only one Marcus Wright, Wright. There's only one Russ. There's only one Coach Ellis. And we might have the same gifts, the same talents in the same proportions, but because our lives are so drastically different, they will show up differently. So helping people understand who I am, that's foundational. If you don't know who you are, then other people will define you and make you useless to yourself, but only useful to them. So we start with, who are we? So that's being relevant. There are spiritual gifts assessments. There are personality tests, whether it's DISC or Myers-Briggs or the colors or the numbers. We have a whole inventory of assessments we can do with folks to get them to a space to understand how they are indicated, and then weigh that against, in the faith development space, the prayer that we're doing with them to find out where they are comfortable at saying, this is who I'm designed to be. And 90% of the people discover that who they're designed to be is not who they are showing up as. They're showing up with what's acceptable, what has been rewarded. Because as men, we're easy. People are easy. We do what we are rewarded for, whether it is authentic to us or not, whether it is our divine design or not, because it's easier. And we're not designed for the easy. The world is waiting for us to be who we are designed to be, and nothing changes until that's the case. So we start with our relevance. Then we talk about being empowered. Empowered is our purpose space, right? So once I know who I am, now why am I this way? Why was I born in 1966 or 1976 or 2006 or 1800? Why in this space? Why to these parents? Why this race or this gender, or why? So if I believe that there's a divine design, there's a divine purpose for that design. And that empowers me, because once I know who I am and why I am, there's nothing else that can stand in my way. I'm an avid believer that once I found out who I was and why I was that way, as The Rock would say, it doesn't matter what anybody else has to say, right? So if I'm teaching in a church and they want to do evangelism, I say, okay, do evangelism. Don't call me to teach it. I've taught it. I've done it well. That is not what I'm designing and I'm purposed for. Right. Just because I can doesn't mean I should.
Okay.
I like that.
From chasing the want tos that helps me exclude the must-haves. Right. And so my purpose is my must statements. So relevant, empowered, authentic is my place of destiny. If design is who I am, and if relevancy is my design, it's who I am, empowerment is my purpose, it's why I am, then destiny is my what do I do? Right? And this is where we find our life work, our passions. What we do must align with who we are and why we are. If it doesn't, then we're in a constant hamster wheel chasing after the next shiny object. Have you known people who have gone to work for 30 or 40 years and hated every day of it?
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Because they're busy doing and not becoming. They're human doings and not human beings, right? And we're all in the process of becoming. I tell this story. One of my first coaching clients was a 2-star general for the Army. We knew each other at Fort Bragg. He was a special operations guy. And when I got there, he said, "Hey, Ellis, I hear you're coaching now. Can you coach me? I'm about to retire. I don't know what I want to do." And so I was coaching him. I said, "Well, you're walking Rambo. What am I going to tell you?" And he said, "Well, I just need someone to talk to." So I asked him a couple of questions. And literally, walking Rambo sat at his desk and started to cry. Wow. And when I asked him why, he said, "I wish someone had asked me these questions 5 years, 10 years, 20 years ago, because I am the most successful ethnic officer of my ethnicity in the history of the nation. And I don't have life fulfillment. I got 5 ex-wives and 10 kids who won't talk to me." And the thing is that when we looked at his destiny space, his life work, he was doing something he was never designed to do. He was successful at it. He had all of the bolo badges and he had all of the accoutrements of being a 2-star general, but he never should have been doing that work. And what made him cry was he said, if I'm this successful doing what I was never called to do, what type of impact could I have had if I was in the place where I was supposed to have been?
Now those are that wow, because now that makes me think, right? Think about the people that you're talking to, and you're helping them and you're supporting them. The question I have right now is, what happens when someone's in that spot that they don't feel they should be in after speaking with you? What's your next level of support for them? How do you help them to pivot?
I call it grandma wisdom, right? My 92-pound grandmother, 90 years old, had a statement she would say whenever we were in that space. You know what it was?
What's that, sir?
Stop it.
But it's not easy for people to just stop it.
But here's the thing. It is harder to be in a place of misalignment than it is to get into alignment. And what happens is we get so used to the pain that we can't survive without the pain. So my next level of support is really doing the pain assessment for them and saying, what is it worth to you? Because truth be told, some people, the transformation is not worth it. They think it's going to cost them too much in time. They believe they're too old. And my job at that point is to, help correct the stinking thinking. It is never too late for you to get on the path that God designed for you.
Okay. I'm about to mess up, Russ. I'm apologizing right now because now we about to get deep. Because I'm gonna take my own self, right?
Go ahead.
So looking at Marcus A. Wright, 30 years of being a project manager. I have done some of the biggest projects in IT in the IT industry in a lot of different cases. Very good at it. Like really good at it. Probably one of the best out there doing it. You know how long it took me to figure out what I thought I was supposed to do?
How long?
So how would you talk to somebody that's been like the general, been so great at it for 30 years, doing this project management thing, and then all of a sudden I said, I'm going to pivot and jump into this EQ coaching thing. And then you're kind of wondering, is this really where I'm supposed to be?
So let me share you the two questions that I asked the general, and these are the questions I think that one of them every coach will ask you. If money and time were not an issue, what would you do? Okay, but I think the question that's most important is, what are you so passionate about and so committed to that you would pay somebody to allow you to do it for them?
Now, that's a great statement. I like that. So what if I say, Coach, I'm passionate about this EQ and AQ thing, adaptability quotient, emotional intelligence quotient. I'm so passionate about it. But then I come in and I'm like, Coach, nothing is happening for me. Like no one is hiring me, nothing. And I'm out there calling and man, Space Nation, I'm just, using this because I know that some of y'all want to ask this question. But I'm calling and I'm trying to reach out to them and nothing is happening. But I've been doing the project management thing and I've been so successful at it. But I love doing this and it's just not happening for me. What do you tell me then, Coach? How do you support me?
I go back
now
to
I'm ready to give up.
Yep, but I go back to the question. While you're passionate about the AQ and EQ space, is it something that you were willing to pay somebody to allow you to do it for them?
Yes, I would.
Okay, so now it's time to put some action behind your words. So there's an old African proverb that says, "He who chases two antelope starves." So you're a project manager. You're very successful at it, but is that your thing, or is that just a thing you're doing?
I was really good at it. I loved it after the first 5. I loved it up until year 7.
But that wasn't the question whether you loved it.
That's right. That's not the question.
That wasn't the question whether you loved it.
Okay.
The question is that are you willing to pay somebody to sacrifice, to do without, just to do that?
I don't know how to answer this.
Because most people never answer that question because they've never been asked.
Heck no. I wouldn't pay nobody.
Right? Then
my answer is
it's
no.
not your thing. Your thing is a thing that you eat and sleep this thing. So I know speakers, motivational speakers, and you listen to their stories. Man, they went bankrupt. They lost their house. They've been living on the street in pursuit of the dream. These kids in Hollywood will go live on the streets and be waiters and waitresses for that one big break, because for them, that is their thing. Writers write, singers sing, and EQ folks do EQ stuff.
But when you get to a certain point, because you mentioned the Hollywood people, so these Hollywood kids, they're kids, they're young, they don't have anything but themselves. As we get older, life starts lifing. So now you got your wife, you got your kids, you got other things as a man that you got to take on that you can't sit there and just say, well, I'm just going to pack it up and just go do this right over here. You can't just always do that, right?
That briefs well, but with that general, that's exactly his story. And every client that I've talked to that has a similar story, the family becomes the excuse, not the reason. Because for me, and it's just for me, I can't speak for everyone else, but and a lot of my clients, when they discover their thing, this is what God designed me to do. How dare I not do that? Do I not trust God that He's going to provide while I'm doing what God has designed me to do? Now, I'm just going out doing my thing because I want to do it. We have no hope that our supreme being, our deity, I happen to think it's God, is going to support it. But if God is calling me to this space, it's God's job to provide for it. Let me give an example. And this is a personal example. I try not to use myself as a personal example, but this one works. So I worked for the federal government until Doge happened, right? And I had the opportunity to leave federal service. I was going to retire in 3 years anyway. I had the opportunity to leave federal service and have 4 months of being paid to sit at home. I said, that's a no-brainer, right? Everything is set, and then they shut the government down on the day of my retirement, which means that my retirement stuff isn't processed. So I went without any income for 4 months. Now, I knew in my heart of hearts that I believe that God said it was time for me to leave. Right? And I didn't know where the money was coming from. I didn't know, I'm not independently wealthy. I'm successful as a coach, but I lost, high six figures leaving this job, right? And what I was doing as a side hustle wasn't making the money. So, and I remember having a conversation, say, okay, God, you got to do something because you got to do something. 20 minutes after I made that statement, I was at a concert for a friend of mine, and somebody came on the table and handed me an envelope and said, you've been on our minds, and we just want to bless you. I said, thank you. I didn't really look at it. Got a car, check for $4,000. A week later, someone sent me some more money. I think like $1,500, right? I've not told anybody we're in any need, right? But for the next 9 or 10 weeks, money was coming in from people who I haven't talked to in years. And all they said was, you were on my mind, and we want to sow into you. Now, I can say, hey, it was all about me, but it wasn't, because we had not put any information out, sitting home sweating it through, and was always just enough to get me to the next hurdle. And I tell people that because if we are truly pursuing what we believe we've been designed to do, and God said go do it, God will provide for it. And so the provision has been coming. No effort of mine. All I did was do what I was called to do. I'm coaching, I'm pastoring, I'm doing those things, and people are seeding into it without having to be asked. And I would tell everybody, if you are in that space where your design, your divine design, your who, your purpose, your what are aligned, and you are doing something in line with that, resources come out of nowhere. Come out of nowhere. And I'm a smart dude. The math is not mathing. But that's what purpose does for us. It focuses us, because I can easily concentrate on what I don't have, what I don't think I'm going to have, what I might be missing, instead of focusing on what I've been called to do. As long as I'm doing what I've been called to do, it seems like the universe conspires to support that. So we go back to, you're successful, but is that your thing?
Wow. So what happens when you now I heard all of that. So we're gonna go a little deeper. What happens when excuse me, I've heard what you've said, and I'm listening and I'm trying to grasp it, and things aren't happening that way. Contracts aren't coming, people aren't calling. I'm now starting to 100% say, I decided to do the wrong thing. I need to go back to project management because that's the only way I'm going to make a living. Now
sometimes you're about to quit before your blessing happens.
Right. But I'm the person that needs the coaching. So Coach Ellis, support me.
All right. So I can only tell you from the stories, right? Now, if you're a person of faith, we're going to have a lot of conversations about the stories.
Okay.
Right. So Noah spent 3 years building a boat, an ark, and it had never rained before. Everybody thought he had lost his mind. Right?
Uh-oh.
Abraham was told to leave everything he knew, go to a land that God's going to show him, and he wandered around for years without God saying this is the place. I'm sure at some junctions he was like, "Did I hear God right?" He's in that space. Maybe I'm mistaken. Human nature will do that. This purpose, if you are sure about your purpose, and you are aligned to your purpose, then perseverance has to be there. So many of us quit. Lots of stories with the Navy SEALs and the Green Berets in their assessment, in their qualification courses. Folks are going through and they've been beat up and beat down, and folks quit. And as soon as the guy quits, 10 minutes later, they're graduating. Because all they had to do was wait 10 more minutes. Right? Because
I'd be mad.
It happens every cycle where folks are this close. I call it the almost but not yet space. Right? And what we have to determine is our purpose, our why, big enough to withstand the resistance? Is our why big enough to overcome the obstacles? Is our why big enough to break through the barriers that stand between me and my destiny? Because if it's not your thing. And so, and I've had to have some hard conversations with people. They were just fired about this thing. But when push came to shove, they quit. It ain't your thing.
Wow.
Because it's your thing, you will never quit on that.
There you go.
So we're going to take a break. But Marcus, while we're doing this, think of what is your why. And when we come out of break, I want you to answer that one.
Yes, sir, I will.
We are back here on the Man Space Podcast with our special guest, Coach Ellis, and we got Marcus A. Wright filling in for Big Les here. So before we took a break, Marcus, you had time to think. What is your why?
So Russ, before we do that,
thanks, Coach.
Coach just
needs more time. He needs more time. Go ahead.
Before you get to your why, do you know who you are?
Yes, sir, I do.
Very core. Who and can you describe that without talking about what you do?
And I describe it without talking about what I do. Yeah, I could.
Okay. Who are you, Marcus A. Wright?
I'm Marcus A. Wright.
Who's that?
There's this guy that is full of love and loves to give people the opportunity to have hope, to help people to, for me, believe in whatever they want to do. I really believe that mindset is important. So for me, my mindset is the one thing that I depend on no matter what.
So are you a dream enhancer?
I wouldn't say I'm a dream enhancer. I would say that I'm a person that helps myself, since I'm talking about me, to
Mm-hmm.
get on the right path that I needed to go down for me.
Okay. Why are you that way?
Well, I mean, the answer is God made me that way. However,
What's your purpose for
it took
being that
me a
way?
long time to not discover it. It took me a long time to accept it.
Mm-hmm.
So I can literally go all the way back to my childhood. When I was 4, I tried to get baptized. I was being pulled, and they said I was too young. I went when I was 5. I was told I was too young. Finally, when I was 6, they let me do it. There was no pushback because they started asking me questions, and I answered all of their questions. And from that moment on, I knew who I was.
All right.
Now,
So why are you
as an,
that way?
as an adult, I couldn't figure out who I was anymore. And I was that way when I was younger because of the things that I observed and what I believed in, because I wanted to make sure that I was happy and that I was doing the best I could to help people that I cared about be happy. And that's why I'm that way. I care
Okay.
about people 100%.
So eh, so I would just push a little bit and say that you've qualified these things, but
No.
not defined them. So when you get to your, you know, when you get to the place where we're talking about what should you do, what is your
Mhm.
thing, right? I would tell you that there's still work to do in discovering that divine design that is immutable. And it's not something that, again, you're discovering it. So it's not something that you're uncovering. So it's been there since your day of birth.
Mhm.
It's always been there. And then your purpose, once you get that, then you align them to what is that thing, right? And so, and I would just offer that as you think about Russ's question, understanding that your answer is probably going to be a little surface level because there's still more excavation to do on the who and the why that feeds your what.
It's
Does
an
that make
interesting way
sense?
to look at it. It does. Now, to answer the question about my why, uh, my why and my purpose is to bring the world the 4 quadrants: EQ, AQ, personality, and SQ. Now, everybody's like, what? Emotional quotient, which is
Yep.
emotional intelligence. Adaptability quotient, which is learning to adapt. DISC is what I use for personality and Myers Briggs. But I also do social quotient because a lot of people don't understand people. And I help people to understand people. And the reason I do that, especially with younger people, is because I believe that they hinder themselves because, one, they don't know who they are and they don't know how to adapt to the people that they meet in the future because they put so much stock in what people say about them.
Mm-hmm.
So I want people to be secure about who they are and understanding who they are and what they believe they're supposed to do in life
Why?
because it's the most important thing.
Why?
And I mean by that, it being the most important thing. When you don't have any self awareness, when you don't know who you are, you don't know what direction you're going. And if someone isn't helping you understand that and helping you discover that part of you, you're going to be lost for a long time,
Okay.
like I
Why
was.
is that? Why is that important to do?
Because when you're lost, boy, he's got a lot of why questions today, man. Space, boy, I'm being like I'm putting on the spot. I didn't know I was in a coaching session today. Oh my god!
Well,
So
Russ,
what
what's
I'm
going
walking you
on here, Russ?
so what I'm walking you through is the 5 why process because what you'll find is the first couple of whys are always surface.
Mm-hmm.
They're the expected answer. Time to get to the third why because you listen to what people say and you ask, well, why that? So you want people to know who they are. Okay, why? Well, because if they don't, then they'll be malleable and usable. Okay, why is that important? Well, and eventually we get down to the real root reason why, because the world is waiting for them to be who God created them to be. I'm just making it up, but you may eventually get to that spot.
I appreciate that.
So we get to the fifth why, then we're really at the core of why we do what we do.
And man, Space, this is incredible coaching. I'm getting right on the spot. So I hope y'all loving this, because I ain't never been put on the spot and lost for words. But
we've never had a show where our guest has become the host.
Right.
I'm just gonna mute this thing and let y'all take it.
But as a kid growing up, my grandmother, I was very blessed. To make it short, I had both sides of my family, grandparents on both sides. I had my mom and my dad, right? As a kid growing up, I am a natural problem solver and protector.
Okay.
Those are two things that I've always been. But my grandmother would always challenge me and say, what type of man do you think you need to be? Now, she started this when I was 10 years old. And she said, what do you believe your mission is? Now, what do you believe your purpose is? So now you're taking me all the way back to my childhood, Coach. I don't know why you're doing that to a brother. I feel like I'm in therapy right now. Going back to that time in my life, my grandmother helped me understand a lot about myself, because anybody can say what they're going to do, but will you put into action and believe what you're going to do? I love people, and I do. Like, when I say I love people, I'm the guy that you want to bring in because I care about the success of other people. So my why for me, but for that next why, is taking that coaching and training that I got from a lady that's no longer here to help me understand that my purpose was to educate people to be better by the things that I've learned. And it's about looking at the content of their character. And we as people, my opinion, don't look at the content of our character, and then we start to judge other people. And I want to remove that. I want people to be self-aware so that they can understand, if I look at myself and my flaws and what I'm doing wrong and what I may have done to offend someone, then I know that I can be there. As they say, what is it? Each one teach one.
Okay.
That's what I'm here for. Now you got
Who's your target, Marcus? Who's your target audience?
My target audience is, from a corporate perspective, the leaders in the corporation, and helping them understand team building, because I believe that there's a huge issue in leadership and understanding teams in corporation and young people. I love young people.
All right. Put a pin in that for a second. Coach Ellis.
Yeah.
Who's your target audience?
My target audience are emerging, existing, and exiting leaders.
Short and simple.
My focus is leading leaders in transformational conversations that change individuals and change organizations.
And so the reason I stopped you, Marcus, is because I heard you say several times that you want to help young people, but your target is corporations.
Well, because I have a nice grouping of young people that I deal with, but I've learned over the past 6 months and watching and understanding that people are quietly quitting. They're quietly destroying themselves because they don't know what they want to do. And the reason they're quietly quitting is because of the leaders. So it was kind of a shift for that part. So everyone understands what, a depression is, from the Great Depression, the Great Recession. But did you know that a lot of people don't know that there's an $8.8 trillion recession going on right now? It's an emotional intelligence recession, which has started the quiet quitting, which has started the leaders that can't get people to do the jobs the right way, which has started the leaders that should be getting their teams to get involved and working better together. They're losing people, and companies are losing money, and companies are losing great employees.
So, Marcus, you just took like 5 different places.
Uh-huh.
Okay. And the only thing I would offer you is he who chases 2 antelopes starves. You can impact all those spaces, but all those spaces can't be your target. So when I did my TV show, the target was women over the age of 30 who want to be in healthy relationships with men. Now, it did not mean that 20-year-olds couldn't get a benefit from it. My target was women over 30, right? It didn't mean that men couldn't get a benefit from it. My target was women over 30. It couldn't mean that people who were in the same gender-loving relationships couldn't get a benefit. My target was women over 30 who wanted to be in great relationship with men. So the principles are immutable, but your targets are not. Does that make sense?
Yeah, they didn't put me on the spot again, y'all. I'm just letting y'all know. I done been put on the
If you
spot.
keep hearing that in the background there, Man Space Nation, that's the lovely O'Hare Airport back there.
Yes, I understand. Russ got me, y'all.
All right. So
this was great.
Oh man, you guys are teaching me stuff.
You had a breakthrough here, Marcus? Did you have a breakthrough?
I'm a little nervous about saying I had a breakthrough. Coach decided he coached me up. I had a breakthrough and a direction.
I really hope the Man Space Nation got something out of that, because that was good. I'm just like, don't call on me. I'm just sitting over here being quiet.
You're gonna make it worse for your boy.
That's why I had to keep firing at you, so he didn't get to me.
Fred, we supposed to be like this. You see how he did me, y'all. That's supposed to be my boy. We like this, and then he gonna keep throwing it over here. No, I appreciate that. That was great insight.
It is my prayer and my hope, and hope is not a method, but it is my quest that, well, I just believe that everything rises and falls in leadership.
True.
The difference, Russ might be a little young for this one, but the difference between Chrysler before Lee Iacocca and after Lee Iacocca was Lee Iacocca.
Correct.
Right? Leadership changed. They still made the same cars, had the same factories, had the same leaders.
Yes.
The only thing changed was Lee and his group. So everything rises and falls on leaders and leadership. So a lot of folks, leadership is the single most written and read about subject in the world. It's even more than love, right? Because everybody's in pursuit of great leadership, and there's such a deficit in true leadership. And what changes the world is leadership. And there's this misnomer that everybody can be a leader. I don't think that's true. Everyone can lead at some junctures, but a leader is the leader is a calling. Leading is a function. And I put it this way: I can go out and I can bounce a basketball and I can toss it up into the net. Okay, so I can play basketball. LeBron is a basketball player. There is a difference between the two.
Very true.
And so there's a difference between leading and being a leader. And a lot of times we want to interchange those. And part of our quest is to ensure that we are dealing with leaders, not simply people who might lead, can lead, should lead. I'm dealing with leaders. Leaders not by position. Leaders by calling, in their divine design and in their personal purpose. And what they do is lead.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, what do you feel are some of the key traits of leadership?
So I think, so in the real paradigm, so we saw, I think being relevant, empowered, and authentic, and legacy leading. To me, Without that, there is no leadership. So the idea is I must be true to who I am. I must know who I am and be true to that. Because true leadership, I think Richard Blackaby said, leadership is, some people say leadership is influence and leadership is getting people to do what they wouldn't ordinarily do. I believe leadership is supporting people getting on to God's agenda for their life. Right? And that's a takeoff of Richard Blackaby, is leading people onto God's agenda for their lives, whatever that is. And you get to know what God wants you to do. I don't know that. So once you tell me this is the direction, my job is to help you get on that, is to support you on to get on that path, stay on that path, be on that path, and leave breadcrumbs so others can follow you on that path.
I truly believe that when it comes to being a leader, it's not about you just telling people what to do. It's about training people to do what you do and getting them into the right position to be a leader as well.
And so the other thing I would offer is, John Maxwell talks about a 360-degree leader.
Yep.
Those who are true leaders don't have to have the position. Right. And so, yes, it's about training other leaders. It's also about empowering other leaders. And so, before there was MBA programs, folks were leading in the Stone Ages. They didn't have any education. They were leading in the Stone Ages.
Mm-hmm.
Leadership is an innate quality. And so leaders are born and they are refined and made. A lot of born leaders will never become refined leaders. A lot of educated leaders who weren't born with the leadership gene will function but never truly be leaders. They will lead but never truly become leaders. And the key is finding those who have the gifts, talents, abilities, and skills to lead, and then positioning the gifted first, then the talented, then the skilled, and then the ability, and you layer your leadership.
Mm-hmm.
And with faith leaders, I tell people, I'm not built for just everybody. I know I'm built for leaders. I have a different conversation with leaders than I have with folks that sit on the pews every Sunday. Right. You come in, you take off your credentials, and we have some Peter moments. We get to cuss each other out. We do it as leaders, but you can't do that with everybody. So,
right.
I think we need a leadership revolution by making sure people who are leading are leaders. So you can see all kinds of exhibits today, people in positions, but don't have the requisite heart, skill set, giftings to lead, but they're in positions.
Ain't that the truth? How do you go about getting your ideal client to come in?
Oh, that's a great question.
I wish I had a better answer other than it's just happening. I'm on a deliberate process now of discovering what my funnel is going to be. Mm-hmm. And if I get in front of people, I can talk all day long. If I had to put a proposal together, I'm as my granddad, I'm struggling a little bit. Right? But my ideal candidate, they tend to show up in the spaces of their lives. We meet in grocery stores. We meet in car lots. We meet in the gym, and folks start talking. They just want to talk to me. So one of my unfair competitive advantages is that people want to talk to me. Mm-hmm. And when I talk to them, they want to be. If I tell them the grass is red, somebody's going to go try to prove it. So I have to be very careful about what I say. Mm-hmm. But people want to talk to me, and they want to hear and believe what I say. Mm-hmm. So that comes with responsibility. But when I meet my clients, because I engage them in the spaces of their lives and not try to bring them into the space of my life. Okay. Meet them where they are, but I don't leave them where they are.
Okay. Wow.
But if you have ideas how to get more clients, help a brother out, because
I'm antisocial. I can't help you there.
So look, I hear you. I hear you.
I throw my earbuds in and leave me alone. Hat down, earbuds in, go about my business. Like, don't bother me.
This has been very enlightening to learn what you were teaching us today.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate that so much.
I appreciate you. I feel blessed to have been invited.
Yes, absolutely.
Me too, man. Me too.
So, Coach, man,
Yeah.
we're gonna. I mean, we could probably go on and do a whole another hour with this, because you've just been dropping gems on top of gems on top of gems on the ManSpace Nation. But how can the ManSpace Nation get back in touch with you?
So I'm in the process of my website should be up sometime this month. It's going to be at elliscrum.net, www.elliscrum.net. They can always reach me through my email, coach@elliscrum.net. And at some juncture, I'm going to figure out how to get on social media and make that work. But you can find me at Coach Ellis on Facebook, Instagram, Reddit, and X.
Okay.
All right. You heard it, ManSpace Nation. Go out there, find them, follow them. Marcus, you got any last things or anything you'd like to throw in there?
I don't know. I'm scared to say anything else right now. I'd have learned a lot. I mean, what can I say? Coach, so the last question I want to ask is, what would you tell someone that is truly trying to learn what they should do? What advice would you give them?
Pursue it with reckless abandonment. Make mistakes. So one of the principles that I try to instill in people is, you win some, you learn some, you never lose. And so if you are in a process of trying to discover. I mean, try it. You have an idea, try it. And be patient. Give yourself some grace. If you knew the answer, you'd be doing it already.
That's true.
Right? And so give yourself some grace. Everybody needs a pastor, a coach, and a therapist. So find those three people, put them on your team, and they need to be three different people. Right. Put them on your team, and then watch how your world changes. So pursue it. If I had more time, I'd take you through the whole process. But essentially, it's your passion. What is your thing, right? What is that one thing you do? I call you unfair competitive advantage. One thing you do that only you do better than everybody else. And if that's your thing, you pursue that with reckless abandonment. Everything goes toward that. And you can never lose by investing into yourself. Never.
Okay.
I got one last thing for you, Coach, and it is called the last word.
And now, the last word.
Coach, I have my magic wand right here. If you could go back and tell young Coach Ellis one piece of advice to help you today, what would that be?
Discover who I am earlier in life and do it. If I had started this when I knew I was supposed to do this, there are a lot of experiences I wouldn't have had, but I'd be much further along on the path I'm supposed to be on. I took a lot of detours. So discover it early and then pursue it with reckless abandonment. And it'll pay off. The world is waiting for you to show up.
I love that.
Love that. Coach Ellis, thank you so much for being here on the ManSpace. This has been tremendous, man. We got to have you back and pick back up with this conversation. Matter of fact, we might have to get Marcus in here with Les, and we just keep going. This
Yeah,
all
make
yours,
sure,
Russ.
look, make sure
All
you
yours,
get less and drill him, not me.
Manspace Nation, we'll be right back with a little bit more of the Manspace podcast.
As we do each week, we like to close the show with just a little bit of inspiration. The word of the week is inspiration. Inspiration is a spark. It's a quiet reminder that there's more to life than routine and comfort. What inspires me are the people who refuse to give up, the ones that keep going when things get hard, who rise after falling, who believe in something bigger than their fear. I'm inspired by small acts of courage, a kind word when it's easier to stay silent, a fresh start after disappointment, a dream chased against all odds. These moments remind me that strength doesn't always roar. Sometimes it whispers, try again. I'm also inspired by growth. The way a seed breaks through soil, how the sun rises after the darkest night, how people reinvent themselves over and over and over again. It's the proof that we're all capable of more than what we can imagine. Inspiration isn't something we wait for. It's something we notice, nurture, and share. So Manspace Nation, look around in your struggles, your progress, and your connections. The world is full of reasons to keep moving forward. Let what inspires you guide you, not just today, but every day. Until next time.
Wow. Let what inspires you guide you, man. And I think a lot of that is basically what we were getting with from Coach Ellis. I mean, all that inspiration, all that he just poured out into the Manspace Nation and poured into Marcus, man. You know, maybe that inspiration moment just hit for you and just not gonna have you give up, Marcus.
Yeah, that was man. That was great coaching right there, right? On the spot, raw, authentic, and honest.
Yeah. That's the key thing, man. A lot of times when you're dealing with a coach and you are listening to what they have to say, you want somebody that's honest. You want to have somebody that's relatable. You want to have somebody that can not just talk up here and just give you the book knowledge, but they can break it down to your level. And I think to me, I look for that in any type of leadership. You know, don't just give me book answers, man. I know the book answers. I can read the book. I'm not coming to you for the book. You know,
right.
I want the practical applications on how to break all this stuff down, man. And man, Coach Ellis just dropped so many gems on us today. So we want to make sure that you guys go out there and check out his website once that drops. We'll make sure that link is up there for us, you know, and you know, guys, keep checking that out.
And Russell, one thing I'll say about it is him being so authentic about it. You can feel the passion, but you can feel the love from his heart in what he was coaching, right? Like he said, he's there to support. And you could feel all of that love and trying to make sure that the answers were right for you, not for him.
Right.
In this case, it was for me. And it for him to coach the people and help the people that he does, he's trying to get them to have that understanding within themselves. And you can feel that like 100%. And when you have a coach like that, man, you good. Because a lot of coaches are not like that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Manspace Nation, we got to let you know, because this episode and every new episode of the Manspace Podcast, you can catch 2 days early on WTMSTV.com before it gets released to the rest of the world at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. The latest episodes are there. Man, those guys look good right there on the screen. And then on Thursday nights, you got Throwback Thursdays on WTMS TV with back-to-back episodes of the Manspace Podcast. Marcus, what you got going on? Anything you want to plug, you can share it right now. You got it. Go for it.
Next
5, 4.
Saturday, I have the Mental Edge Conference in Chicago. Yes, okay. And you can get the tickets because it is virtual. If you can't make it in person, you will be able to see it virtually. There are virtual tickets, and it's my website, www.therightmentality.com/mental edge. The keynote speaker is Dr. Billy Allsbrooks. Man, if you don't know him, look him up. And I'm telling you right now, you'll understand why I'm telling you, you don't want to miss that at all.
Absolutely awesome. Well, I got nothing else to plug. So on that note, and since Les is not here, I'm just going to say his line for him. We are out of here.
No gimmicks, just game that my sure in sight. They shine like the city on a Friday night. Man talk, real talk, that's the way that you bless. Giving knowledge and some laughs in the same finesse. From life goals to the jokes that hit. They the tag team champs, yeah, legit with the wit. So pull up a chair, let the stress digest. From the beat drops, you know the rest. You go chillin' with Russ and Les.